Broadcasting live from the Ready Generation headquarters in Nairobi, Kenya, to the world, by the way, via readygeneration.co.ke. But here in Kenya, you can find us on terrestrial or on radio on 88.8 FM in Nairobi and 90.7 FM in Mombasa. And by the way, we are also live on WhatsApp, so you can call us on 00116 928 683. I'll repeat that, 016 928 683. And we don't stop. We always say this, we don't stop, and we're not stopping with the high-profile guests here on the Sports Garage. Earlier on, Anthony Midenyo from handball, and now we switch over to a sport similar.
It's all similar.
No, similar in terms of the balls na fanana. It's just that the ball is smaller. But yes, we switch focus to football, and this week, fantastic news as regards Kenyan football. And it's almost as if, by the way, the good news in Kenyan football just can't stop coming. Over the last couple of weeks, by the way, or months even, we've seen the country hosting the African Nations Championships, and that's unprecedented for Kenya because obviously we have a history of general non-investment in sports. I'll be honest with each other. So we are glad to announce that obviously a few days ago the Harambee Starlets, yes, our female national football team, I was supposed to say soccer. Somebody, Dennis, did you say soccer?
No,
football team. Football team qualified for the Women's African Cup of Nations for the second time in history. They were last year in 2016. Na hapo, by the way, tuliwapiga makofi.
To reach 2016?
No, he time in your...
Yeah,
yes, at the beginning of the show? Oh, we did, yes. So Makofi Kwao, by the way, they've made us proud. And to discuss this amazing feat that took place, we have football royalty in our studio, by the way, here at Radio Generation. You can tune in, by the way, www.rgk.co.ke on YouTube also. You can also find us on X. You can find us on Facebook, live in high definition. Tuko na mchezaji mpira ndani ya studio, by the way, na huyu ni mnoma sana. So she'll introduce herself, by the way, and then from there we'll take it on to the next level to scare Harambee Starlets kunaendelea aje. So kindly welcome to studio and introduce yourself.
Thank you. So my name is Ouko. I used to play football. I'm retired now. So I played for the Harambee Starlets. I was in the team that qualified for the WAFCON in 2016. But now I work in the Players Union, Kenya Footballers Welfare Association, where I'm the vice president in charge of women football and communications. And should I continue?
Yes, please.
And I also sit in the FIFPro Africa board. So FIFPro is like the FIFA of the footballers unions. And then I sit in the CAF committee that organizes women football, and also freelance for FIFA in the human rights and discrimination department.
Wow.
That is pretty cool.
Thank you.
I'm one more.
I'm chicken out kidogo.
Kuna several committees I sit in, like the steering committee for AFCON and Chan. Chan is over now, so I sit in that steering committee. I'm a gazetted member. And I also sit in the EDI committee at FIFPro and the professionalization and finance committee at FIFPro as well.
You've mentioned something very interesting and important, and I'd love to know, by the way, since I imagine many other Kenyans would love to know, since you were in that committee, or you still are in the committee that managed Chan, and I want to believe you're still
2027.
Yes, still in charge of what will happen during Africa Cup of Nations. Tell us your experience. How was Chan management generally from day one to the end? What is the experience?
Of course, there were a lot of hitches at the beginning because generally CAF felt that Kenya was not ready. Okay, none of the Pamoja people were ready, but Kenyans are the loudest, so it looked like we were not ready. And I think at the beginning when we hosted the draw, we were told, oh, because you're the worst, so you just host the draw, and then us guys will do the finals. And that was not the case, because you can remember we hosted an impeccable final.
Yeah.
But so Kenya's the last minute. So I know at
Very
some point
much so.
CAF was really frustrated because they like planning early. Like now, if you go to Morocco, they went there way early to plan for AFCON that starts in December. And here we were just saying, oh, we are Kenyans, we are last minute. And they were really frustrated. And at some point, we didn't look like we would be ready because we had two groups. Remember, one group was taken to Zanzibar because of that. Something we could have avoided, but I hope we learned that lesson. But either way, at the end of the day, we did it because they say they're last minute, but yes, they deliver even if it's last minute. So yeah, and it was also amazing that despite not reaching the final after losing to Madagascar, which I strongly think we underrated in the beginning.
Madagascar often goes underrated, by the way.
Yes, so that is a mistake we did, because after beating Morocco, we were like, "Aye, come on, Mepiga Morocco. What is Madagascar?" Yeah. But then they showed us dust, and you remember that we still filled Kasarani without our team being in the final. So I think that was impressive.
It's a serious sign of success, to be honest.
If they would have tried Tanzania and Uganda, they played in an empty stadium.
And I was just about to say, comparatively, by the to Leona.
Yeah. I watched the semi-final between Morocco and Sudan. No, that was the final. Sudan played the semi-final, I think, against Madagascar.
Actually, Morocco went to Tanzania to play their semi there.
Yeah, and
it was Morocco against Senegal? I don't know, something.
Yes, and it was an empty stadium.
Yeah, pretty much.
An absolutely empty stadium. So,
so successful event. Let me ask one more question before now we dive into football and your career and the women's game. The crowd incidences we saw. Generally, I took it positively. By the way, I
was there. I went to 4 group games, and then I didn't go to the Morocco when I was unwell.
Tell me about Kenyans generally and their behavior when it comes to such incidences, and what we can do generally going forward, because we have a lot that's going to happen in the country. Now we have, I've been bragging about Nairobi United hosting continental matches here in Nairobi, but generally, something for the fans, because I saw some behaviors which were nice, but what was your experience generally around fan control, and what are the lessons for AFCON, in 2027?
Yes, that's also a part that was underrated, and I know that people kept asking about tickets, because unaingia kwa portal kidogo tickets zimeisha, and the fact that most let me say the true fans were not able to get the tickets, because sometimes I don't know if this is a thing, but honestly they are fake fans who just come to the thing because we've heard that kuna kitu Kasarani, but they are not like your regular fans who would go to watch Nai Boys or Gor Mahia. So they're the ones who get the tickets, maybe because they are VIPs or something, and then all of them have the tickets. But I have a problem with the regular people missing out on the tickets. And then you also saw cases where maybe politicians were buying lots of tickets, and then they hoard the tickets and call people to, I don't know, City Stadium, kujeni mchukue tickets, alafu tutawabeba kwa basi, we take you there, like people
making
even
a spectacle out of it.
Exactly. So people use churning so in weird ways. So you realize that kuna ule mtu anaishi la Kisama, mwenye amezoea kukuja Kasarani every day kuangalia game maybe ya Gor Mahia ama ya Police Annex. Huyo mtu hajapata ticket. Anajua chuo zote za kuruka ndani ya stadium.
True.
You saw them.
we know them.
So tell me why this person will be patiently waiting outside knowing that I have been kufaying with this. Really, it's like Baba fans, they'll do anything to get to where Raila is or whatever. It's the same with football. It's just some crazy madness. So I think if handled well next time, then let the tickets get to the target audience, because I'm sure there are people who are taking had tickets and didn't go to the stadium because they didn't have time, or they just don't feel it. But I think the security stepped up.
Yeah.
After that, when we now are told, we only allow 30% or 60%, and then you move to. So we've now learned, and you saw that now in the lead up to the finals, we had better security measures and all that, because CAF has a robust security department headed by Dr. Christian Emaruva, and he personally came here after the first incident. I think he was in Tanzania or something. Then he just shifted base to Kenya. And we had I think they beefed it up with NYS and stewards and all that. But then you realize that it was just oversight. People underrating the power of this tournament and also not expecting that much funds to come into the stadium.
100%.
And I think also, if you recall, after the second group game, when they really saw that, by the way, Kenyan is going to get support, really, they started having a fan zones. I think Archives was one of them. There was a couple in Isama, Babadogo as well. There was places where you could now go sit down to watch with other people, because yes, I can tune into KBC on my TV, but this is Kenya, in Kenya, you wanna be there with somebody else next to you, a stranger, something like that, and and I think Homa Bay won the medal for that. They had some very beautiful screen in the amphitheater and all that. So the fan zones were also a good way of just decentralizing the fans, so that the ones that do not have ticket can then convene at where is Austin coming from? Babadogo, and watch Austin together, talking about it. So I think that was a smart way to also just just to back up, to piggyback on that as well, among the many committees that you sit on, one of them is the CAF organizing women's CAF competitions in sports, right?
Yes.
So you're on that committee, and you've sat on this committee that has organized now CHAN here in Kenya. What are some of the things that we can expect from the Africa Cup of Nations that we will have in 2027 that you will also implement in, for example, the WAFCON that's going on in Morocco next year?
There are lots of expectations, so can you narrow it down?
Fun experience.
Fun experience.
Yeah, fun experience, yeah.
Now, for example, I'll give an example of Morocco, the upcoming WAFCON. AFCON. There is, I know that now they're coming up with fan zones. Fan zones is mostly a FIFA thing.
Yes,
and now they're coming up with fan zones. But what's interesting is the people doing the fan zones are actually private people.
Is that so?
Yes. It's not part of the competition per se. So I met someone who said, we will do fan zones and we will do this for the fans. And it will be interesting because I know they can pull a spectacle out of it.
Yes, you can. You really can.
Yeah. So I'm waiting to see that, because it's something I've not seen CAF doing in competitions a lot lately. But it will be interesting to see how they will pull it off. And if you look at Morocco, for example, Morocco is like Kenya. Even if it's a women's match, they will fill the stadium.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's why when we had the WAFCON, they just concluded WAFCON in Morocco that Nigeria won, you realize that all Morocco matches were at the Olympic stadiums.
And
then all the other matches. Yes. And then all the other matches were in the smaller stadiums. So that's what they do in terms of when they know this match is going to have this match. Like in Kenya, all the Kenyan matches were at Kasai.
Because
there was no way you can take that match at
Nyayo.
Yeah, so that is what they do to manage. They just assess the risk and see, and then they do the scheduling according to what they expect.
Their expectations.
After they've seen that maybe this team itakuwa na mafans wengi, then they just move it to a bigger stadium.
Interesting. Abundance of facilities, by the way, which is something I like about the current government. It's really talking about improving facilities at county level, because I think it generally starts from there, where we have more options. One final thing about CHAN before we move forward completely. How would you rate our capabilities of taking care of AFCON, and in terms of in my opinion, I felt as if, and you said something earlier which I think agreed with it, is that we should not even have been losing matches to Zanzibar or Tanzania and Uganda. So generally, as an organizing committee, are you tasked with taking care of only the Kenyan aspect, or do you work generally with the rest of the Pamoja bid, if you like, Uganda, Tanzania? How was it like generally managing this competition, and do we generally as East Africa work together at that level?
Yes and no, because it's a Pamoja bid. So technically you should work together, because even the budget, you should share the budget and all that. So there's definitely push and pull here and there, because how we see things is not the same way Uganda, for example, would see things. We're different. So it's technically when the group that is here is Kenya's business.
Okay.
So whoever is in Uganda will have a totally different set of CAF staff and LOC in charge of that. So this Kenyan LOC will deal with also another set of CAF staff in this. So it's divided in such a way that there's no way you guys will meet at some point that, the Kenyan LOC will go to Uganda to do something there. It is everyone in their territory. That's how it was at Chan.
So maybe a question, how easy or difficult was it to secure the final for Kenya?
It wasn't difficult. Everything points to Kenya. Our airport, the ease of travel. When you look at it holistically.
Okay.
If you want to go to Entebbe, for example.
By Uganda, you don't land in Kampala. You land in Entebbe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here you land, expressway, right. 2 minutes you are in Kempinski, and everything is within arm's length, if I could say. So those are the factors that to consider when you're picking. And like you said, totally Kenya can host this thing by ourselves, but we are those guys who just wait for inspections to fika, and then we run to show that we are doing something. On that day you bring lorries and everything to show and that is our undoing, doing things at the last minute. It's not like we can't do it. We can, we just don't want to do it early.
Do you also feel like there's a lot of performative nature in Kenyan sports? Like you said, it's there's an inspection you're told it's in 3 months, but 3 weeks to the inspection now is when you're going to start doing it. Investment in sports as well, when all eyes are on whatever, a politician will come, the president will come and start saying, we'll give money for this, instead of creating a system where funding is already it's not even something that is spoken about, and after Chan, now when the lads were getting so much, were getting money, now that the women's team has qualified for WAFCON, now they're getting some money, but it seems like it's a bit performative.
Yeah, it's I'll put it this way, we are so reactive instead of being proactive. In fact, there are so many decisions that are made because someone made noise online, and therefore someone was triggered to do this.
Crazy.
So I feel like we like to firefight, because there are things that if we want to do it's just seamless. The same way we normally say, if you bring a gold medal, then you have this amount of money. If you are, so there are people who, I think Athletics Kenya have done it well. Everyone knows, I'm going to whatever Olympics, if I come back with a gold medal, I'll get this amount of money. So you can actually plan ahead instead of looking like you're begging and this is your talent. At even as you did this for the boys, so it's more like you're doing us a favor. And for me, sports is big business. It's not something that you should beg for. If you're playing, the national anthem is singing in your name, like, you properly deserve recognition, and you deserve, there's obviously a budget, maybe the sports fund and whatever, and they should already plan for when this happens. Not that mkishinda I will give you. It should be, I don't know, maybe I'm looking at it from I don't know which angle.
No, you're absolutely right.
Don't start blackmailing. It looks like I'm even lacking the right word to.
It's almost like something like the mafia would do before a boxing match, something like that. It's almost cartel like.
So unapata hapa tunacheza Chan mpaka watu ma red card juu umeambiwa unataka kujiua ground oh, because umeambiwa kuna 2 million inakungojea, because this 2 million, it's now a do or die.
It's really do or die, honestly. Yeah.
No, your body is your biggest asset. You have a whole life ahead of you, ahead of Chan, you know. So ukianza kujipura hapa, ukishaumia kwa Chan kuekiwete, what happened? And some of these people, these are their livelihoods.
And by the way, Chan is an exclusively local tournament, so you're playing your heart out. You get a serious injury, you're playing at a club where I'm not going to say that the health insurance is good or bad, but is it even present, you know?
Kenya being Kenya. I hear you.
Yeah, so
and that's actually something now that you're a part of the Kenya Footballers Welfare Association, which now would something like health insurance for players who play in the league. This is a sport where inherently you can lose a leg, you can have a career-ending injury every single day you go out to play, you know.
Yeah, and that's why we normally encourage them to think about second careers. All of us, when we were playing football, we knew this was a stepping stone, because remember, it's a short-term career.
It is a very short career.
Yeah, when you get to some ages, people start telling you, hey, give youth a sporting chance. Hey, what are you still doing in football, blah, blah, blah. So that now you need to start thinking about how you're transitioning from football. And obviously some people get injured even earlier when they're not ready. And then you start saying, oh, you need help, blah, blah, blah. And you just know Kenyans, it's a culture of what have you done lately. No one remembers what you did before.
Nilikuwa nachezanga hizo siku, nilikuwa KPL every time.
So hiyo memory ndo hatukutukuangi nayo. We will sing your name now, but hey, ebu jaribu kukua broke ndo uone no one, and people will just say, hey, I remember when we used to have a program at Kefwa called Mind the Gap. So what we did is it went to the roof during COVID because everything stopped, football stopped.
I think funny enough, during COVID is when I discovered Kefwa. I had never heard of it before that.
Yeah, so we used to do this program where if you have something on the side you're doing apart from football, we highlight it. We told those stories a lot, and then apart from highlighting it, we had like some, what do we call it, like a seed grant where we boost your business or whatever.
Almost like Chama system.
Yeah, so I remember running this story of Onguso with his boda. I'm happy, a footballer doing something else apart from football. Little did I know people would start ridiculing Onguso online, saying, he played for Gor Mahia in the national team and he's just riding a boda. But from where I sit, I see someone doing something to earn extra cash. And during COVID, as you may know, teams were not even paying salaries. So they want Onguso to start changaing from a pay bill, ama afanye nini. So for me, it was ridiculous. So
afadhali kujihasolia instead of sana kuanza kuomba nilikuwa nafanya hivi, pay bill ndo hapa.
Yeah, but it had ripple effects in the sense that some people gave him more extra borders. I think Odibets came through or whatever. We also bought him another one. So he had a fleet of borders. And
amekuwa business owner.
Exactly. So hii kitu ilitani ikakuwa, and then we started highlighting more businesses, and then people looked at it differently. Ikakuwa more people are doing. Even the Kariobangi Sharks goalkeeper then was selling cakes, baking cakes.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we got so many good stories.
Speaking of the guy who was selling cakes, a guy who had this vision, not particularly in football though, was Ombachi. Dennis Ombachi was a rugby player, but he knew his career is going to end eventually, and he pivoted to cooking online.
See, so we really encourage them to do that and also go back to school, because at the end of the day, you need a second career and you have a whole life ahead of you.
On that story of the second career, something I was very surprised to hear about you right now. So 2016, you're in the team that qualifies 10 years after the Kenya women's national team was formed. So by the way, that's when Harambee Starlets was from 2006, right? So 10 years later, you're there, you've qualified, but you don't go for the tournament because you have a second job and a big opportunity to do something else.
Actually, Dennis's employer was also my first employer. So when playing for the national team, I was also a journalist.
Yeah,
so I was writing for
that.
soccer. Soccer came after footer, you know.
Yeah.
So I was working, and remember, soccer was owned by the FKF president.
Yes.
It was it was called
Soccer.co.k.
Okay.
Yeah, so I used to write there like all women football stories. That was my niche. That was my. I could even do a match report of a game that I've just finished playing in.
Yeah.
You're like 3 corners to the opposition, 3 yellow cards,
That was the level.
6 offsides.
Yeah, so I also had a baby.
Congratulations.
I had a baby. I had a small baby back then. And then I worked for JZ on the Sport for Development side. I started as an intern and then as a communications consultant. And I also worked at G4S. So I kept 3 jobs in
Hold up. We need to know. G4S, yani when you say security unabeba hizo madoa manini.
Nilikuwa kwa data entry.
When do na dispatch the
so
trucks?
my way bills ni nini, I'm the one who deals with them, but I used to work at night. So nikishamaliza shughuli ni nini, I go there because it's just data entry.
Did you ever finish a game, write an article and go to G4S
Yes.
all in one night?
And also go to JIZ.
Wow.
Yes. And my employer at JZ knew I was playing football, so that was easy.
Okay.
Because there are times when we wanted to go to Turkana and be released early to go play in a league match, because I used to play for Spedag FC then.
Yeah,
Spedag had like 10 players in the national team then. It was like the
it was basically national team B.
Yes. Yeah. So I disclosed everything I was doing, so it was easy. Except for soccer, you don't need to be in the office because you're writing online. And si backend iko tu kwa simu yangu.
Yeah.
So whenever I go, even when I'm sitting in traffic, I'm just writing stories. Si bora nifikishe target. Yeah, so it was easy. So I was balancing. That is how motherhood, the things motherhood
Oh my
show
God,
you.
all of this plus a baby. I had totally even forgotten that part.
So I have hustled, and then later on I went to MTG. I got another job that I could now do.
MTG,
singly.
please tell us. Means
Moving the goalposts.
Moving the goalposts.
Yeah, so I was still playing football, but when I looked for that job, I told them, I'm in Shaacha ball. That was 2017. Okay, I said that so that I get the job faster. Then when I got into the job, I actually helped get the women's team into the league. Their women's team, it's still in the league, still playing in the Division 1 league. So
it's called
moving the
goalposts.
Yeah,
so
MTG.
like there's a MTGFC.
Yeah, MTG United. So I used to play for that MTG United and still head the football department. So when I'm in the field,
and moving the
I'm very
goalposts.
obedient to the coach, but when we're in the office, I'm the coach's boss.
You're being subbed off. You're like, I'm riding you up.
Now it's so good.
Of course, how dare I? Apologies. Sorry, mkubwa.
Yeah, so it's sometimes you create your own sunshine. You know you are not ready to transition, but you also need this job. Put the team in the league and play for it.
Wow.
And they would want you to play for it.
Of course.
Yeah, so that's how crazy sometimes life is.
So your boss is at work and you're their boss. Your coach is at work and now you're their boss at work. What if they say there's training now?
I go for training. The office is here, the ground is here, and it's a football organization. Actually, we even had a staff team. Moving the goalpost is an organization that uses football to do other things. So football is at the center. Even the people who are doing health will still come to football for us to help them do football drills for HIV, football drills for this and this, for education and livelihoods. Yeah. So it's like football is the mother of all the programming run around football. Actually, the team in the league didn't have funding. There was no funding for the but sometimes you go to help people and tell them, naona budget yenyu hata hamjamaliza. See, you guys, we do something together and then you pay for our league matches and then we help you do this. So most of these organizations that have football teams, football is not.
It's secondary.
Yeah, it's not being funded.
So like corporate, whatever, Poster Rangers, KCB, Tusker. Those are some bigger ones, but there's many corporate teams that football is just a by the way.
Yeah. So imagine this is an NGO and someone comes, USAID comes with funding for health, and then maybe Glorious comes with funding for education and livelihoods. So they tell you, we will help you buy machine, mfundisha watu tailoring na nini. Remember, you have to be smart enough to plug in football there. So either your football people are benefiting from this training and then you help them do some activity, alafu excess money they help you do your. But there was a time they had Adidas as their sponsors, and we had kits and everything, but then Adidas left. And then when Adidas leaves, now you start thinking, hey, there's no funding. You even someone start thinking how utapata funding for that team. But you know it's your baby, so you have to look for other funding from Common Goal and all those people who can support. You know, there are some unrestricted funding that you can just use in other activities. Yeah, so sometimes when people blame organizations for killing football teams, I just laugh because I know I've lived the experience. It's not easy. It's not they're doing, because for example Wadadia was doing Fitsula, and the funding they have maybe is just for helping people go to hospital for surgeries and all that, but then they have a football team that they're supporting, but there's no direct funding to this team. So the team members have to do something for peer education and whatever to kind of pay for this fund coming into the kitty to take them to matches and all that. So women football is different, normally I say, and unique because they have to fight for everything.
They really have to,
you know? Kuna mtu Gor Mahia atakaa tu chini aletewe kila kitu, and then kuna mtu tibu kama Wadadi ama MTG ataambiwa na sasa mtaendaje game next month, hamna do. You know.
I was even thinking like more like washing the kits and stuff like that. Unabeba home unajoshea.
I know it depends from team to team. There are people who come together, wash it, but it depends. Size more and more kuna goodwill. So unapata, now that we have the Champions League, the CAF Champions League for women, that was never there, and we have probably, I don't know if we will have a second competition, but we also have the under-17 CAF that they're piloting. Unapata teams now want to be on the global stage.
Yes.
So like you've seen Police trying twice to get to the Champions League. They've won the league, but not to the Champions League because the competition is now immense. So unapata, they're paid. Now they have contracts, but it's not much. It's not the level. But madam tu ni kushukuru because tumetoka from zero to something.
Really?
Kuna progress. Lakini ukiangalia vizuri, it's not sustainable. They'll just have to keep second jobs, or kama unataka kuishi soft life, itabidi tu
off the record, mu shindan me argue na mu sana about whether this will happen. With AFCON coming to Kenya, so it's great to have someone of your insight here. Vile AFCON inakuja Kenya, now CHAN imekuja, and generally we are hearing some big names in our country, like for example Nairobi United, now Johnson Sakaja, the president, also recently was named as one of their owners. So do you really feel with AFCON it will herald a new beginning for Kenyan football first? Do you think the sport can be professionalized? Do you see that happening? Do you think this is the foundation?
It depends. I used to have a finance, an accounts teacher who said all answers depend. It depends. Because we hosted the All African Games in 1987, and then we built a stadium, and then we waited 37 years to start building another stadium.
Literally.
So I don't know. Sometimes we just want it for the moment, and then after that tunafunga virago na kila mtu anarudi back to factory settings. And then sometimes for some tournaments they're actually legacy projects. So I'll say something like, for example, now the under-17 World Cups, they're being hosted in one country for 5 years. For example, now Morocco will host the under-17 women's for 5 years. Obviously,
is that for World Cup?
Yes.
So the previous one that was in Dominican Republic had been there for 5 years?
No. Now they've started another system.
There's a new system now.
So they'll host it for 5 years, for example. And then there'll be legacy projects, obviously, because they have to improve their facility, they have to improve their transport, they have to improve. And also remember, Morocco, for example, has AFCON. They've also built another new stadium just next to the Olympic Stadium, a very big one. And then obviously they will improve their transport system, they will improve, of course tourism is improving. Marrakesh will be filled with people because and also you realize that activists will also come and say, oh, now you've stopped funding education, you're funding. Actually there are some are saying they're killing dogs to prepare for World Cup. So they have under 17 World Cup for 5 years, they have AFCON, and they have another World Cup that they're co-hosting with
Spain and Portugal.
And Portugal. So you see, obviously kutakuwa na legacy hapo. Trainings, the technical center is big and better. FIFA HQ is in their country.
Yep, they've actually opened a FIFA HQ in Morocco.
So hapo legacy.
After Sisi Kenya, now we have an arrangement with them for training. We signed a technical agreement with the Moroccan FA. FKF.
I think
who is benefiting?
Yeah.
Nani ana benefit?
Well, economically,
there's some parasitic okay, I'm not saying it's parasitic, but
please, this is the home of hard truths and bold insights.
I didn't say it's parasitic, but obviously there are agreements. Sometimes if you sign some partnerships, some will be synergistic, some will be beneficial, some will be parasitic. So unajua kila mtu ako na interest, so you just need to be smart about it. What do you want from this partnership? Isikuwe tu on paper, ikae kwa shelves and then hakuna kitu ingine na happen. So yes, we will have changes because maybe Talanta Stadium itamalizwa and all that, but I hope we don't wait another 37 years to build another stadium.
And talking of deja vu, she reminded, I mean, to my example in 1987, and I just recalled our cricket team. We even hosted a World Cup match here at the Nairobi Gymkhana, if you remember very well, back in the day, and it all
maybe
went
before my time
to ashes. Yeah.
And Odumbe, who used to be the star, comes from my village.
Elisha,
really?
Yes.
So
you actually do come from a crazy sporting background, don't
and
you?
by the way, my brother is Felix Uchieng, and he used to play rugby. Hi, Felix.
Shout out.
By the way, we love our rugby here. So hi there, Felix. It's a pleasure. And so it's good to hear that. Off air now, I had you having a conversation with Moose about where you've been in the world, and you've traveled quite a bit. So maybe it would be nice to tell our listeners or explain to them what football has done for you, where it's taken you, the places in the world you've traveled. There are many people out there. I have friends who have daughters, and they aspire to have their daughters play. They see all the reports around Kenyan female players. They are well traveled. They get contracts outside there. So
there's been a couple who've been of late have been signed abroad.
Plenty of them. Our Harambee Starlets squad is full of internationally based players. So if you could share just a bit of an experience of your own your journey, and to educate us. I also have 2 daughters. I'd love them to do this. So how is it like generally?
For the record, my daughter does not play football. Not yet. She has refused because I had so many injuries, and she witnessed each one of them. Anyway, so my journey was it just started simply playing football in school, and then when I finished high school I was living in Mombasa. So one day I met someone and he asked me, hey, I know you from school, you used to play football, are you playing football now? When you finish high school and you're just home walking around. I remember hata hiyo siku nilifukuzwa home ati wewe hebu enda utembee where you used to
toka hapa leo.
I used to just stay at home and listen to music and all that. And then I'm a very quiet person, a very shy person, by the way. So I stay at home. My brother chases me away from home and says, shika pesa enda utembee town. And then I meet this guy and ananiambia ati unacheza ball bado? Namwambia hapana, niliacha, ilikuwa tu ya high school. And then he tells me, I know a team that trains karibu na airport huko Magongo. Twende nikupeleke. Hiyo tizi nilienda nikatrain na jeans.
Wow.
Mimi nilikuwa raundi nini. Nilitoa tu viatu na nikaingia na nikacheza barefoot. Kumbe these people had a league match the next day. Then that is how I got into the team. Wakaniambia, hey, wewe ni mdeadly, kesho come tuko na game. So me, I went, played. There was a UNICEF league in Mombasa then, before it expanded. So after that, I was scouted by now Spedag. So the Spedag coach sees me in that game.
Wow.
And that's how I ended up at Spedag and got my first call up to the national team. And obviously I was in college and my people were like, hey, this football, we don't believe in this football. You've now started skipping school, you're going for football. Of course nilikuwa najificha bado. So naenda na hipa. They're looking at me and thinking, hii football utakuja ona tu. And I came back with so many injuries. And at some point I was being asked, why do you keep playing football and you're not getting anything from it. But then from that program, I was trained by UNICEF as a counselor, and then I started working, doing HIV counseling and testing. I started earning money from it. And then with all the connections coming to the national team, Patrick Korir actually was the first person who gave me my first award when I was the best defender at Sakata Ball before it became Chapadimba. And then I came to the National Youth Talent Academy in Karen for 2 years, played for the national team for several years. And then my people started seeing, kumbe, this football. Because my first allowance at the national team, I sent it to my bro just to show you that I am making money. It wasn't much. I think it was 5,000 bob, but he was shocked. So this football can actually give you money. But remember, I had stopped going to school. I was at Moy University then. And then when I finished playing for Matu in the league, I got pregnant. So I couldn't go back home. I said, nabaki tu hapa Nairobi.
Wait, what?
Yes. So I am here, of course, cheza ball. I'm the national team captain. I'm heckling on TV to Spolipwa. I am the one who makes the loudest noise. And then, boom, I'm pregnant. Unarudi wapi? Ilibidi nianze maisha Nairobi. And that's why I was keeping those jobs I was telling you about. Ilibidi ni changamke. And then after 3 months, of course, I bounced back, started playing again. I was even I gave birth in 2013, 2014. I was back in the national team. So,
oh wow.
Yeah. So nikajituma tu ile I have to bounce back. And I was a role model, and I was thinking, hey, so what am I going to tell these kids? I was the one who tells them, delay marriage, delay pregnancy, and then I'm pregnant. Yeah, so I started also saying, if you get pregnant, it's okay, you can come back to football. And this is the postpartum maternity guide from FIFA and all that. It can protect you. No one will choose you from the team. Now I changed tune because I work in the Players Union space. Yeah. So I have to be the model that sports mothers work. Simona Faith Kipyegon. She's a sports mother. Yeah, so maisha inakupiganga, unaanza kuchange nini story. That's why sometimes I look at politicians and I'm like, I understand, because lazima context change. So that was my journey, and then I went back to school. After the baby, I took myself back to school, obviously, because I was supposed to go to some scholarship in the US, which did not materialize. And then the baby came, and then I had to stop. But then I finished my master's now. So luckily, I worked, got some money, and then paid for my degree, finished it, and did my master's that's why I was in DMU. And then also this FIFA master was interdisciplinary in such a way that you did your humanities and introduction to sports management in DMU. You go to Italy.
DMU ni wapi?
De Montfort University in Leicester. And then you go
Leicester,
to
England, yes?
The East Midlands.
Yes. Fantastic. And actually when I was there, I also played for a team in England.
Really?
Yes, in Camden and Islington. Candy United. So I was going to school and also playing for them in the league. I did not hype it because what
was that?
I know Kenyans.
Kenyans.
And that team plays is Camden and Islington. Isn't that in London though?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I went to London every weekend.
Oh wow.
To play. Yes, because all my classmates used to train every day in Leicester anyway. So over the weekend I could go and just play and come back. I was so dedicated. People used to ask me, "Hey, you come from Leicester to play?" And I was like, Kenya, this is not bad. But for them it was like you were dedicated.
How long is that train?
No, it's like half an hour. If you go by bus, it's like 1 hour.
No.
Yeah, it's not long.
Okay.
It's not long.
Absolutely.
Yeah, ni kama tu traffic ya 5 o'clock Thika Road.
Yeah, but hao wanaona nifaa. Sasa umetoka Leicester.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in studio with a fantastic human being. This conversation should go on until 7. True or false?
True.
It should, by the way. We're going to hold Terry here hostage, but we'll be right back. The top of our hour is here. It's 6 p.m. on Radio Generation 88.8 FM. This is the Sport